Hey guys, I'm Rob Rice. I'm your instructor for CST 100 Overview of the Bible. In this course, we're going to cover the entire storyline of the Bible in just a few short weeks. So because of that, it's not a really in-depth, word-by-word, verse-by-verse kind of study. It's more the big picture. And you can see that in our course description. It's a general survey of the Hebrew Bible and the Christian writings, Old and New Testament, right? And with special emphasis on the religious national life of the Hebrew people, the life of Jesus, and development of the early church. Most of what we'll talk about is really the whole story of how God created man and the redemption of mankind. And you'll see that as we teach it throughout the weeks, that it's not really too much detail, but it is kind of that overview, and that's why we call it the overview of the Bible. I'll introduce myself to you. My name's Rob. I live in Fullerton. You can contact me anytime by email. We can also set up conference calls. I'd love to be able to help you with any assignments or to answer any questions that you have. I've written earlier that I have some experience using Scripture in my life. I've been a Christian for over 40 years. I've kind of been involved in studying of the Bible for most of that time. Went to university and then on to seminary where I got my master's degree, and have been teaching or studying the Bible ever since with churches and different organizations. I served overseas for a number of years. I've been in and out of California the last 10 years. I've been teaching at CBU since about 2011. I have a group of classes that I teach. This is a fun class for me because I get to meet students who don't necessarily know a whole lot about the Bible. And so I want to try to help you kind of get your feet wet. Just maybe taste a little bit of it and see what you think. When I'm not doing this, I actually have a business called Interlogia that does Bible translation work. So we do translation in a couple of different countries that are kind of limited access countries, and I oversee the projects and the different translators from here online. I just moved back from Doha in Qatar. I was there for a year, kind of fixing some of the issues with the projects and helping out in different ways. I've lived in Turkey, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Pakistan, and have a great love for the people over there. And I deal with Californians okay. They're all right, but it's a lot more fun to deal with people from other languages and backgrounds. I enjoy that cross-cultural experience. I want to go over the textbooks real quick for you. The Bible is the first textbook. You can use any Bible you want. This one that's recommended is great, but honestly, I think it's best if you read multiple translations and multiple versions of the Bible. So any of them are fine. People that criticize translations of the Bible or these things are really nitpicking. The basics of Scripture are going to come out in all the translations. The two books that you need, Johnston's IVP Introduction to the Bible and God's Big Picture from Vaughan Roberts, directly relate to assignments. Okay, so the Introduction to the Bible you'll use each week in your quizzes. So there'll be at least 2 or 3 questions each week on the storyline that we're looking at as we read through. And you see, I forgot to tell you about reading the biblical passages is another part of the course. It's not something that you're going to be tested on or asked to give, swear that you read the whole Bible, swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. It's just an opportunity to organize your reading in a simple way. And this is from Scripture Union. The IVP Introduction to the Bible isn't a complicated book. It's helpful because it covers all the books as introductions to them. Vaughan Roberts' book, God's Big Picture, is something that you will use in your discussion board each week. And so you'll have reading and then you'll discuss part of that. So these books are necessary. You can rent them, obviously. You don't have to buy them, but they are definitely necessary for the class. Here are the student outcomes that it's important for you to see. Student outcome number 1 is to become familiar with the settings in the ancient world in which the Bible was produced and canonized. We don't cover that too terribly much. We kind of give you a background if you have any questions specifically to that. One of my favorite things I've ever done is take my kids on a trip through southern Turkey, through the 7 churches of the Revelation, and just walk them through. This is where this church was located, and look at the relics that are left. This is what it actually looks like. And some of that ancient Near East context is really rich for me and important. Goal 2, students will become familiar with the methods scholars use to interpret biblical texts. You'll see that at the very beginning we'll use some kind of fancy words or kind of very academic terms, and you don't have to go crazy on that, but it's good to understand basically how the different ways of looking at the Bible that's used academically. Students will become familiar with the storyline of the Bible. This is basically the most important part of the text of the course. We'll talk about the storyline from creation to redemption, and how that goes through the whole Bible is really the gist of Vaughan Roberts' book and really this course. Become familiar with the basic content of the books of the Bible. Go 4. You'll see that mainly in your critical assignment at the end, where you're going to actually have to write about one of the books of the Bible. And then goal 5, students will be challenged to reflect upon and analyze how the biblical texts apply to Christian faith and practice. That's something that comes out in our discussion board each week, and then also in your critical assignment. Let's look at the assignments real quick. Reading and lectures. There is a built-in PowerPoint presentation that I'm not going to change. I'm going to leave it out there for you because the quizzes are often come from words that are used there or things that are involved in that. I will try each week to highlight something to kind of speak to an issue or speak to some specific idea within that, but I don't want to add too much to confuse you. I don't want to try to add more assignments. I want to make this as painless. Is that the right word? I want to make this good for you, and so I don't want to mess up kind of the way the course is created with the quizzes coming directly from the PowerPoint. So hone in on those PowerPoints. You can't use them for the weekly quizzes, and the weekly quizzes are important. They're true, false, multiple choice online quizzes. You get 20 minutes to take them, and then you're done. Okay, so you don't have time to Google everything. So although that's kind of a thing, I understand. You're not supposed to use any books or notes, and we're not going to obviously look over your shoulder, but you just need to prepare for the quizzes. Don't go into the quizzes thinking, well, I know Adam was with Eve. I mean, that's just not going to be enough information for you, right? So the weekly quizzes are critical. The discussion boards, this is something that's easy to fall behind, and it really can hurt your grades. I want to encourage you to be a part of those discussion boards at the very beginning each week. What I do is I take the discussion boards that come in on time, and those are all graded, and then those who come in later, they're all graded, but there's 50% off. Okay, so if you come back to something and you're adding into the end, but that you're not creating a discussion at that point. You're just throwing things on the back. All right. The final assignment is the critical assignment. This is Introduction to a Biblical Book. You'll choose a book of the Bible, and then you'll look to discuss that book in an academic paper. Okay, so in an academic way, it's considered the critical assignment, which means that you have to complete the assignment. If you don't complete the assignment, you don't complete the course. And I'll tell you more about that assignment as we go on and help you pick out a book that you like, perhaps, or maybe help you find books and sources for that. Let's look at the grade points. You see that how much the discussion boards are worth, 50 points each week. Weekly quizzes are 50 points each week. And then the critical assignment is 200 points. So those are the 3 major assignments. It's a normal grading scale, not too complicated. You should be able to keep up with that pretty well. If you look at the assignments and how they're due, everything's due on Sunday, week 1, day 7, for all these different assignments. After midnight on Sunday, then something is on the next day, right? And so that's when the 50% deduction in discussion boards comes into play. Week 2, again, these PowerPoints are there for you. You have Reading the Bible, Johnson's book, Robert's book. Going through the same schedule each week, all right? And you'll see as we're moving through the course that it's pretty similar all the way through until you get to the last week, and that's week 8 when your critical assignment's due, and that's due on day 3 of the week. Now, day 1 is Monday, so Tuesday, Wednesday that assignment is due, and then the final discussion board is on Friday, and then the quiz on that Sunday. And the reason is because I have to have the grades in by 4 o'clock on Monday. So hopefully that helps you. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to let me know. I've tried to explain the critical assignment paper and late assignments and discussion board assignments. Anything else that you have a question with, any problems that come up, please don't hesitate to call me. I can't get you a computer if yours breaks, but maybe I can help you with some problem solving and some of the technical things. Anytime you need to contact me, please just send me an email to that address and I'll get back to you as quick as I can. I look forward to this class and getting to meet each one of you. I hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy your Labor Day.